What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are talking about the watch that I've been wearing over the past 4 or 5 months. I think it's closer to 5 months now. This is also the watch that I've been wearing in many of my videos over the past few months. So this right here, it's called the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro. Now this is not my first Huawei watch. Before this one I was actually using the GT2 Pro, before this one another Huawei watch, and so on. So I've been using Huawei watches for quite some time. Now, because my main device is an iPhone, I get this question quite a lot. How come that you use a Huawei watch and not an Apple Watch? Well, with an Apple Watch, you typically have to charge that every day or every second day or maybe every third day. Well, with the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro and many other Huawei watches in the past, you don't actually have to charge them for like 10, 12 or even 14 days depending how you use the watch. And that is the biggest factor for me and why I use a Huawei watch, and I've been using one for so long. Because I don't have to charge them daily, that is important for me. The second biggest reason why I use a Huawei watch is the way it looks. I find that round-shaped watches do look better than watches that look like the Apple Watch, but that is just my personal preference. And those are the biggest two reasons why I use the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro as my main watch. Now, if you already have a GT2 Pro, personally I don't find the GT3 Pro that big of an upgrade to this one. And personally I'm very happy with the GT2 Pro that I've been wearing for a long time. Now, the GT3 Pro does have a slightly larger screen, but you can't really tell the difference, to be totally honest here. The same AMOLED screen that can be seen in direct sunlight without any issues, and the screen is also covered by sapphire glass. To give you an example, the GT2 Pro that I've been wearing for more than a year has absolutely no scratches on the screen. The same with the GT3 Pro, so I do expect that this watch will look like new for a long time. We have the same titanium body on both watches, even though now the color on the GT3 Pro is a bit lighter. I think it showcases the watch better with the brighter color. But overall, not much has changed between the GT2 Pro and the GT3 Pro. My version of the GT3 Pro has the titanium strap. On my GT2 Pro last year, or more than a year, I had a leather strap. And this year I didn't go for the leather strap because after wearing that leather strap for a while, it did start to smell a bit funny and I just couldn't take that smell anymore. So for me personally, I'm not gonna be wearing any more leather straps. Now, the titanium strap on this one is really nice. It's also adjustable. You actually get a few links in the box there. But for me and my wrist here, the watch is just slightly too large. If I remove one of those links, it's too small, but if I put one on, it's slightly too large. So eventually I may have to change the strap to something else. For example, on my GT2 Pro, I use a rubber strap now, mostly because I take this watch in the sea. And well, I don't want the strap to get all damaged, and I find that a rubber strap like this one works best if you take the watch in the water. The GT3 Pro also has new buttons on the side, so now we have a rotating crown as you've seen on the Apple Watch. Now, the functionality of that rotating crown is not that amazing, I'm gonna say, so I was perfectly happy with the button that we had on the GT2 Pro. And personally, I don't find myself using that rotating crown that much, but hey, it's there just in case you need it. Now, the backs of the two watches do look similar, but now I did notice that the GT3 Pro does measure certain things faster, and that's definitely a good thing. So even though the backs do look similar, I think there are a bunch of differences on that ceramic back that we have there. Both watches also support wireless charging, and now the GT3 Pro actually charges a bit faster. Not a massive difference, but a bit faster. So charging this from 0 to 100 is done about an hour and a half. But as I said earlier, you don't actually have to charge this watch very often. So you're gonna go for about 10 days in between charges. Unless you do use the watch a lot, maybe you are this super athlete that works out twice a day, and then maybe you're gonna have to charge it every 7-8 days. But for me personally, I can almost go to 14 days between charges. So all the sensors in the GT3 are a bit improved compared to the GT2 Pro, and of course it has all the functionality that we had on the GT2 Pro plus a couple of other things. So of course the watch is still gonna track your steps every time you go for a walk, it's gonna track your sleep, it's gonna track your heart rate, it can track the oxygen saturation in your blood. And now the GT3 Pro, we also get a thermometer, so now it can measure the temperature of your skin. And one of the biggest changes for the GT3 compared to the GT2 Pro is the ability to do an ECG test, so an electrocardiogram, that GT2 Pro cannot do that. So this has the potential of spotting certain heart disease, but personally I'm not an expert on this, so if you do get some strange results, maybe talking to your doctor will be the best. And this feature only works in certain markets, depending where it has been approved and where it hasn't. So keep that in mind, that is available for certain markets, not everywhere. Okay, so I've said this in many Huawei watches that I made in the past. So this watch is more of a fitness tracker than an actual smartwatch. I find that the Apple Watch is more of a smartwatch than a fitness tracker, if that makes any sense. So to give you an example, with this watch you're gonna be able to get all the notifications that you get on your phone. So they show up here, you can read them, but you cannot reply to them. So that's why I feel that this is more of a fitness tracker than a smartwatch. So yes, it is helpful because you just look at the watch, but if you need to reply to something, if you need to do something on the watch, well, you can't exactly do that much on the watch, except for tracking on runs, walks, and so on. And if you're like myself and you just go for a walk here and there, you're not really gonna take full advantage of everything that this watch can actually provide. Also, in case you're wondering, the watch also works good with iPhones, so you just have to install the Huawei Health app on your iPhone and then you pair the watch and then you have access to all the features from the app. Of course, from the app you can keep track of your steps, heart rate, ECGs, temperature, stress, sleep, etc, etc, etc. So all the features that we had on the GT2 Pro. So everything is in the app there, and now from the app you can also download and purchase watch faces for the watch. Personally, I didn't pay for any watch faces. There are a lot of free, good looking watch faces and I just use those. But if you want something a bit more special, you can also purchase a bunch of watch faces from that app. So to quickly conclude this video, for me and for my needs, the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro does great because I don't necessarily need a second phone on my wrist. I just want to check some notifications, I want to see the steps that I do throughout the day. Now I can see the temperature that I have throughout the day and so on. And occasionally I can also do an ECG whenever I feel like doing one. So I don't exactly take full advantage of everything the watch can actually do as a fitness tracker because, as I said, this is more of a fitness tracker than a smartwatch. But for me it does great because I don't have to charge it every day or every second day. I'm very happy that I get to charge it like almost every 2 weeks. So for me that is one of the most important factors for this kind of a watch anyways. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.